Hi there and welcome to Koala Knits and Necks. This is Shelley, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful bag. Like this bag, just the way you see it in the picture is 9 inches tall. So I mean, when it's not tied up, it's even taller. It's 9 inches high and it's 7 inches wide, and because we made the panels horizontal, it stretches and will fit a lot in there. Like it's quite something actually. It's the perfect size. I used loops and threads, soft and shiny yarn in snow leopard. Like seriously, snow leopard, what a beautiful color. It looks like a snow leopard. I'm thinking it's just absolutely gorgeous. I'm loving that color. And also their same yarn in white. You only need one ball of each, and you need your Addi 22 needle machine. Now I also used my Addi egg in this tutorial and crocheted the straps, but I give you options if you don't have an egg, and if you don't crochet, I give you options in the tutorial as to what you can do differently. But this is going to be such a handy bag. I'm going to use it for my makeup. Really, I'm going to this color will match in my bathroom beautifully, and I'm going to just put my makeup in there and have it sitting on the counter. But wouldn't it be awesome to give as a gift bag? Put in a couple bottles of bubble bath or some fancy soap and tie it up and give it as a gift, and then they not only get what the content is, but they get the bag to reuse. How about even a couple cake mixes from the store and a spatula or a flipper or whatever? Stick that in there and give that away as a gift. How beautiful. It'd even fit a small cookbook in there. So it's one of those bags that you're going to have many uses for, and you're going to want to make a lot of them. So and it also the base of it, I did the base in such a way that this bag is freestanding, so you're going to want to see that as well. So anyways, thanks again for joining me in this tutorial. I hope that you love this project and that you make a lot of them. All right, so we're going to start with waste yarn. So we're going to bring our last white and our first black in line with the yarn guide. We're going to take our waste yarn, go behind that first black, in front of the next, behind and in front, all the way around. Okay, and when you get in front of that last white, you put it into your yarn feeder, and I'm going to knit about 7 rows. That's 1, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then when we get to the beginning here, we're going to cut off our waste yarn. We're going to add it into the center of our machine between the last white, the first black. Then we're going to grab our main color for our working yarn, okay? We're going to put that into the yarn feeder in between the last white, the first black. Change your row counter to 0. And we're going to hold those 2 yarn tails. We're going to begin knitting. Then I'm just going to take the both ends of my working yarn and just give it a little snug there to tighten up those first few stitches. Give this one little tie, and we're going to knit 26 rows. Okay, so go ahead, knit 26 rows, and when you get to the end of the 26th row, see me back. All right, so that's row 26. I'm going to cut off a good length tail, about a foot maybe, put it into the center. I'm going to go ahead and grab my waste yarn again, add it into my yarn feeder between the last white, the first black. I'm going to just give this one little loose knot, okay? And I'm going to do more than I generally do for this, because I'm going to put this aside, and sometimes when it's jostled and, that waste yarn comes apart so easily on the end. So I'm going to do maybe 10 rows. One more. First white, last white, first black in front. Cut your yarn, put it between those 2 needles, and we're going to rotate twice. Okay, so there is the base of our project. From here, we're going to go ahead and make the body of the bag. We're going to put this aside for a second, okay? I've got my 22 needle machine set up, and we're going to need waste yarn for this part of the project. So let's bring our
last white, our first black needle in line with our yarn feeder. We're going to cast on. We're going to go behind our first black one, and then in front and behind and in front, all the way around. And then we're going to open our yarn feeder. We're going to put that yarn in there, and we're going to crank out as many rows of waste yarn as you're normally used to doing. For me, I always do 7 or 8. Okay, that's one. At the beginning of the project, you don't need as much because it doesn't unravel on its own. At the end of the project, your waste yarn unravels very easily. So I always tend to stick to the 7 or the 8 row on that. But here, this is probably good. Oh, let me do a couple more, just for good measure. It's what I'm used to doing, okay? So I'm going to then cut that waste yarn. I'm going to get my working yarn. I'm going to open that latch. I'm going to put that waste yarn end between the last white, the first black. Go ahead and take my working yarn, put it in there as well. Hold those 2 yarn tails. Oops, I got to change my counter to 0. And then I'm going to knit 85 rows, okay? Just straight knit 85 rows. And with this yarn again, I put a little bit of tension on the back, and then it just knits like a charm. So go ahead, knit 85 rows of your main color of yarn. Once it starts to hit the table, I'll come back and just show you how I very easily bunch it up so that I don't have any slack on my needles here. Once it starts to hit the table, it pushes up on the work like this, and you could drop a stitch off of your little red teeth there. So generally around 55 or 60 rows. So when I get there, I'll see you back, okay? Okay, so it's time to bring this up, and I just put my hand in there and bring it on up and then fold it over and set it back in there, okay? And then I'll just keep doing that as long as I need to, so that I can keep the tension around the barrel even. Now, normally I have, on the other side of my table, I have a little round hole that this falls into, but I didn't. I just took my big machine off and replaced it with this one, and so then I don't have that hole on this side, so that's why I have to do it that way. So if you don't have a hole, make sure that you bring it up so that you have tension on your needles here, and it's not causing slack, okay? So just bring it up and pop it back in there. All right, so I finished my 85 rows, so now I'm going to cut off my working yarn. Open the latch, put that in between the last white, the first black. Then I'm going to take my waste yarn again, and I'm going to add that in. Hold those 2 ends, and I'm going to knit 7 or 8 rows. I always say 7 or 8, but I always just do 7. Very seldom do I do 8. So knit as many rows as what you're comfortable with. I just tied those 2 yarn ends just to hold it in place there. And then when we're done, we'll cut our yarn, we'll rotate our barrel twice, and our project will come off. I'll do one more here. Maybe one more. Okay, so then I'm going to cut my yarn. I'm going to open the latch, put it between my last white, my first black. Shut that latch. Oh, it's all staticky. Yikes. And then rotate my barrel twice, and it comes off. And there you have it. Okay, we can stretch it out. Such beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous yarn. All right, so once you have your beautiful piece off the machine, I'm going to show you how to close it like this. But you're going to make 3 of these, okay? 3 panels that are this width. Exactly the same way you made this one. And then I'm going to show you 2 ways to close it. This is one way that I'm going to show you, and we do that with a crochet hook. And then we're going to... or you can do it this way. I have a white one here, and I'm going to show you on a white one. Because I actually was going to add this to the bag, and then I thought it was way too big. So we don't need to do that. But I will show you how to do a grafting so that you don't see your seam. And I'll show you that after I show you how to do this one. And then you can choose which one that you like better, okay? I just thought somebody might not like to do the actual grafting. A lot of people are just comfortable with their crochet closure. So then I just gave you 2 options. You choose which one you like best. To be honest with you, even though this one it hides your it just looks like it's, you know, infinity. It goes on and on and on and there's no seam. I personally like this one. I don't know why, but I do. So I'm going to use this one for the bag. Okay, maybe it's because I love to crochet and it's more fun for me to do. And it's the back of the bag, so it really doesn't make that much of a difference. So go ahead, make 3 of these, and then you'll watch my video and I'll show you 2 different ways to close them. All right, so we have to close each one of our pieces with a straight edge. So you're going to need 4 stitch markers or 4 bobby pins. Let's start with one end, okay? We're going to find that first stitch. So this is the end of, that's the end of our project because it unravels very easily. And where that waste yarn is coming out of, you're going to put 1 stitch marker. Okay, then you're going to look to the left of it and you're going to see those 2 stitches, one on top of the other, just like right here. You're going to grab the top one, and the top one is also the loop that is attached to this strand that we have there, okay? So you're going to go ahead and put a stitch marker in there. Take these 2 ends and put them outside of your work. We're going to go to the other side of our project and we're going to find the 2 stitches there as well. We're going to undo that little knot. Get a couple bobby pins here. Okay. And then to find these ones, your working yarn or your waste yarn is up here, but it's coming through this loop. So when you pull on that, it's coming through that loop there. You're going to put 1 stitch marker in there. Now you're going to go to the left of it, and right beside where this strand is, where this working strand is, right to the left of it, you're going to take that top stitch. Okay. So then you make sure your strands are on the outside of your work as well, on that side. All right, so then you're going to fold your work, smooth it out and fold it in half just like that, okay? So that you have both of these tube openings facing each other, okay? Making sure that those little yarn strands, to start this process is a little bit tricky, but once you get it going, it's no problem at all, okay? So we're going to grab our crochet hook, and for this yarn, I'm going to use a 4mm. I'm going to take my bobby pin. So I'm going to take the one on this side that's closest to me. So I'm going to put my hook underneath that one. Then I'm going to go across to this one. It's not so tricky. And I'm going to put it underneath the stitch of that one that's closest to me there as well. I'm going to count this one on my hook as number 1. I'm going to take this one, work it through. That's the second stitch I've worked through. These 2 stitch markers you can take out. Okay. Then you're going to just rotate it towards you. Now I counted them because we have 22 stitches on each tube, so we need to work 44 stitches. So now we've worked 2 and we're up at the top there, so we're going to come down to the bottom here. We're going to work that. That's 3 up to the top, 4 down to the bottom, 5 up to the top, 6. I'm going to do this all the way around. 7, 8, and you'll have to keep twisting your project so that you can keep this all nice and straight. Okay. 9, oops. 9 and 10. Down at the bottom, 11. This is very slippery yarn. And then up here is 12, 13, and 14. And you're going to continue this all the way around until you've worked 44 stitches. Okay? 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So go ahead and do that until you're done, and I'll see you at the end. 21, 22, 23, 24. So if you counted right, when you pull up on this bottom bobby pin, this would be 43. You can take that out. And then you pull up on this one at the top here, that's 44. And if it was 43 and 44, then you know you didn't miss any stitches, okay? And that's what your goal is. And so now you're going to choose, I'm going to choose both of these ends actually. You can just choose one, but I'm going to choose both. Yarn over, pull them through. Actually, I'm just going to choose one. Why did I do that? Because you need one to tie. So it's around that loop. And then I'm going to give this a little tie just to secure it. Okay, then I'm going to cut this a little bit shorter. Now you can take your waste yarn off because you've joined your two and it's all beautiful. It's all secure there. And you take your waste yarn off. So let's just grab this first one here this first one here was the beginning of my project because it doesn't unravel easily. So I'm going to find the working end, which is right there. And it's coming this direction, so I have to flip it around so that I have the front part of the work facing me. I'm going to roll that up so that I have the very top row. You see that loop that's over that yarn? I know that's the top row. Pinch the stitch, pull that out. Go around a little farther, roll it all the way up, pinch the stitch, pull that first row out. This is all twisted, but... And by the way, this is how you could make a headband. Then you can make it any width that you want, and this is how you would attach it. I don't have that on my channel. I should make one of those sometime because it's a, you know, you could do it with any size of machine that you have and make it any length that you want. Okay, this split, so I have to cut that. Okay. This yarn that I used for waste yarn, it's split. Those few stitches split, so that's how come I have to cut it. I can't pull it because it's split, but this is going to go into the garbage anyways. This is yarn that I got in with my Sentro. It's not good for much else other than this, and it's proving to be a problem with this too, but actually it does work really well in the machine. So I just use it for my waste yarn a lot of the times, and it's good. Except for, again, this whole row seemed to have split the stitches, and that's why I can't pull it again. But I'm gonna have some of you screaming at me now and saying there's another way to do it, and I know. I say that in every video. I know there's another way to take it off. Then you just round it around until you take it off. Now I would be careful to roll this into a ball if I was reusing it, but this one has split, so I'm not going to. But you just keep going round and round and round, and you pull it off, okay? So go ahead and remove your waste yarn, and then I'll see you back, and if you need help, well, the other side, you just pull. You don't have to loosen anything. You just grab the beginning of the row, and you just unwind it. Okay, so go ahead and remove your waste yarn off of both of your ends there, and then I'll see you back. All right, so I have it off, and that's what our seam looks like. All you have to do is go ahead and hide these two ends. So just take your little needle, put them on your needle like that, and just, I go under a couple stitches there, and then just hide it into my work. See, some are intimidated, and the first time that I seamed together my tubes like this, it intimidated me too, but you just have to do it once or twice, and then it becomes, you'll see how easy it actually is, and it makes a nice little seam there. Perfect for infinity scarves. Again, perfect for, this is a great headband. Many options. But today we're going to use it to make our bag. Okay, so now you're going to put that aside. I'm going to grab the white one and show you how to do the graft. And if you don't want to do it this way and just want to see the other way, then fast forward through it. All right, so to do the grafting that looks exactly like this, we're going to smooth out our tube. We're going to fold it in half so that our bobby pins are in our first and our last stitches on both sides, and I showed you how to do that in the other method, so I won't go ahead and repeat that. Okay, then I'm just going to turn it like this because it's easier. If I have my bobby pins on the right side here, and the top one, top stitch marker is my first stitch that I'm going to use on that side, and the one that's closest to the left is the one I'm going to use on this side. Okay, so we're going to thread our needle with our yarn, and lo and behold, why did I put that color of yarn on? Let me grab the white. Okay, and so we are going to, so you have a long piece of yarn on your needle, and you're going to, where that first bobby pin is closest to you on this bottom piece, you're going to go up into that loop, okay? Pull your yarn through. Okay, up just like that. Then you're going to go to the other side, and you're going to go down from the, you went from the bottom and came up. Essentially, you're doing the same here, but because you're going from the top down, but your needle's still taking the same direction, but you're going from the top of the stitch down, okay? And then to the second stitch right on the same panel, you're going to go from the bottom up. So down, up, okay? Then you're going to come back across to the bottom one here, and that same stitch that you came out of before, you're going to go down from the top down. Then you're going to swing your needle over and come from underneath and go up on that next one, okay? Then you're going to go over to this side here, and this is the stitch that we worked before. This is where the yarn end is coming out. You're going to go down and then up on that next stitch. Careful not to snag your working yarn in there, okay? So down and up. That's what you're going to have to tell yourself. You're going down and up. And you're going to get all these yarn ends out of there. You can remove these first two stitch markers because they're just getting in the way, okay? Remove them because those are worked. Your other two are still in there because those are your last stitches, okay? So now, I went down and up there, so I'm going to go over to this side here where I'm coming out of this stitch. So I'm going to go back in, down and up. And then back up to the top, down and up. Always starting in the stitch that you finished previously, okay? Now I'm going to start pulling this because I want to get it tightened in there a bit, okay? Find the right end. And then we're going to just continue around, folding over your waist yarn so you can see your stitches. Okay, so I came out of this one. So I'm going to go down into that stitch and up into that stitch. Having a bent needle like this works beautiful with this project. I've got these on Amazon and they're pretty colors. So this is the stitch I worked on this side. I'm going to go down and up. I'm going to go across or to the bottom one. I'm going to go down into that last stitch worked and up. And I'm going to do this all the way around. Take your time. Put your middle finger, this index finger in there and your thumb and your third finger holding on the outsides, and it helps to keep your stitches in line, okay? So down and up. Down and up. Down and up. And then every once in a while, pull it tight. Just like that. And continue on. Always going into the stitch that you worked previously. So there's a yarn coming out of there because I worked it before. Okay. So down and up. Down and up. Very, very simple technique. Once you have done a few stitches, you get the groove of it, then you're going to just keep untwisting that and turning it until you get to the end. And when you get to the end, I'll see you back. So down and up, down and up, down and up. So much fun. And then pull and continue, and I'll see you at the end. All right, so I made it to the end, and my waste yarn on my end of my project, of course, is unraveling, as it usually always does, but that's okay. I'm going to untie this little knot. I have one stitch left on both sides, so I'm going to go down and then into the last stitch where my bobby pin is, there, and then up here, or the bottom side row, I'm going to go down and up where my last stitch marker is. Now I've caught all the stitches. So every stitch that I needed to work has been worked. So technically I can pull this out. I'm going to I tied a little knot on this end to know where the end of my work was so that I can pull this without this coming apart, okay? So there. So I wanted to pull this, oops, a little tighter, okay? And I will cut this working yarn off that I was using because it's way too long, it's getting in my way. And now I'm going to remove my waste yarn, okay? So go ahead and remove your waste yarn off of both pieces, off of both ends, just like that. And I showed you how you remove the other side. You have to pull out that top row. And when you're done that, come back and see me. So this is what it looks like. So it matches your lines and you can't see that it's there. But we need to flip it over again. And we need to grab our needle once more. Okay. And we're going to just finish this off. Got a little bit of a hole there. Now, let me see which was my sewing one. Okay, so once you got your sewing end back, your end back on your needle, you're gonna go up to this. Our hole is right here. So we're gonna go up to that first stitch that you see, and we're gonna go down and up. Okay, then we're gonna go down to the bottom, and we're gonna go down. Where's the up one? And right there where our yarn tail's coming out of, and up. Okay, then we can take, got a little bit of my green yarn that's snagged and is stuck in there. I don't like that. I'll have to take that out. I'll work at that later. Then we can take our needle off. We've got our yarn ends from our project. We've got our yarn ends from our grafting. Just grab 2 of them, tie them together in a knot, and I'll take these 2, tie them together in a knot. Some green there too. I got to work on taking that green out of there. And then we're going to thread our needle. See, you've just grafted your tube. That's awesome. And then we're going to just put it in that same hole and thread it through and hide it. Okay, just like that. Take this other one and do likewise. All right, friends. So that is the second method that I'm showing you, and probably the preferred method to a lot of you, but some people are will be scared by this. I'm not a pro at it yet either. I've done it a number of times, but the other way is easier. I'll work at that later when I'm off camera. The other way is easier, so I just thought I would show you both. But that's how it looks, okay? So there you have it, my friends. You choose which join you like, and you do that. All right, so you're going to take your piece that's for the base and you're going to measure it. Now, I've already done it. It's roughly 8 by 13 centimeters. So then I've got this, and you can, if you can't get a hold of this plastic from your dollar store, it's just a piece of plastic cutting board. If you can't get a hold of it, then you just do your project without it, or you find something else that's, you know, if it gets wet, it's not going to ruin it. Like, don't use cardboard. And then you're going to cut the piece 8 by, I'm going to do 8 by 12 and a half, just a little bit shorter, okay? And we're going to fit it inside. So go ahead and measure out your shape and cut it out, and then I'll see you back. So when you get your piece cut out, you're going to just round off the edges, okay? That just helps it to slide into your piece, and it helps it not to snag on the... Doesn't have to be perfect. You're not going to see it. Oops, see? There we go. Just go ahead and round it off, and then it'll fit into our piece a little bit better. Let me get rid of this. There we go. Now slide it. Get your ends out here. Okay. Come on. There you go. And then we're going to just slide it in there, just like that. Isn't that cool? Okay. And then that's going to keep our base flat. Now you can do a double layer if you want, but I'm going to just stick with the one layer. I think it's good. And now we're going to close up the end. So grab your crochet hook. I'm going to use just this small one, a 4mm, and 2 bobby pins. Or stitch markers of choice, of course. And then for here, I'm going to see on this one side, okay, this side is, this is the end of the project. I should know that without even having to look. And where the waste yarn is coming out of that loop, you're going to put your stitch marker in there. Then you're going to look to the left of it, and you're going to find this one that's trailing from that yarn end there, which is way tucked up in here, okay? And you're going to put a stitch marker in there. We know that we have 22 stitches around, so we're going to count to 11 and 12 so we can get to the very side, okay? So we're going to start with this one here. 1, 2, with the one that the bobby pin's in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is 12. We're going to count that as number 1 because we want to make sure we work all 22 stitches. So that's 1. Then we're going to go up to 11 and we're going to bring it through that loop. So that's 2. Go down to the bottom here, pick up that next stitch, put it through the loop on your hook. That's 3. Then up to the top. And 4. Down to the bottom, 5, and up, 6. You're going to go all the way across until you get to the end, okay? Making sure you count so that you've worked all 22 stitches. When you get to that first bobby pin on the bottom row, that'll be 21, and I'll see you back. All right, so I'll pull up on that one. That's 21. Remove the bobby pin and work that one. And then pull up on this bobby pin to find 22, pull that out, work that stitch. Then I take the tail and I yarn over, pull it through that loop, and I finish that off, okay? Then we're going to go to the other side and we're going to close this one as well, okay? So I'm going to undo this little knot. There we go. And we're going to find our stitches. So you see the one where this waste yarn is coming through? It's coming through this loop here, and trailing up. We're going to put our stitch marker in there. Then when we look to the left of it, the one that's right beside where this yarn end is. So this one up here, we're going to put a stitch marker there. Then you're going to count around to 11 and 12, and you're going to close it the same exact way. And when you're done, I'll see you back. Okay, so that is done. Now we're going to remove the waste yarn. So this is the beginning of our project, so that one's a little bit tougher. We're going to find our end here, and we're going to go over a few stitches. We're going to roll it up to the very top of the row, pinch that stitch on the left, and pull out the top row. Then move down the row a little bit, do the same thing. Roll it up, pinch the stitch, pull out that top row. We just have to do this till we get the first row out, okay? Roll it up, pinch, and pull. Happy Canada Day to all my Canadian friends. Today is July 1st. It's Canada Day. And so happy Canada Day. And we're going to pull that out. And then we're going to unwind it. And I'm going to be in the States for the 4th of July. So happy 4th of July to my American friends. Coming up, okay? Let's see. Now we'll go to this side. And this one just unravels very easily. So we're just going to pull that one. Okay, so, oops. There we go, got it all unraveled. And that's what our piece looks like. We're gonna take our ends and we're gonna just tuck them up into the project, okay? So put it on your needle and just tuck it up into there. Just simply like that, cut it off and do it to the other side as well. The next part of this project is to make 2 I-cords that are 85 rows long, okay? So I already threaded it through there because that's the hardest part of the whole thing, but you can get it through, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to pop that down into the hole there. Then I made a first and a last needle by coloring this divider in between those two needles black. Then I also took a black permanent marker and marked this one, but it's worn off. I have to do it again. So then I can, when it rotates, I can easily count my rows, okay? So it's dropped down in there. The first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna rotate it so it goes underneath that first needle. Once it gets under that first needle, then you pull this out, and then you go in front and behind, and in front and behind, and in front, and then pull that through. Okay, so now that you've done your cast on, I'm going to hold this down between my thumb and the machine, just like that. That's how I put the tension on it. Then I'm just going to knit. So now I'm on row 1. So I'm going to knit with a little bit of tight tension because this yarn splits. Okay, so that's row 1. Then this is row 2. And I'm going to watch as those stitches drop down over those red teeth. My loom pick in hand, just in case I need to help it. That's 2. Then that's 3. I add my hand a little bit later. We're on 4. I'm going really slow, tipping it so you can see. This is 5. I'm going to see if it's coming out that end yet. Let's see here. Can I reach that? I'm going to just help that. Okay, pull that down. That's 5. I think that's what I said. I'm going to add my handle. 6. I'm going to go slow enough so that I can watch every needle. I don't want any tuck stitches. This is 7. 8. 9. Oh, that one's going to tuck, so I have to help that one down. So is this one. 10. 11. 12. I've done 12 rows. Once this starts to peek out, once the knitted work starts to peek out and get to about there, then I add my weighted egg, okay? I think that was 12. Was that 12? I think so. Well, I'm going to make it 12. This is 13. If I do too many rows, I can always undo it at the end. But I'm going to say this is 13. 14, 15, 16, 17, I'm going to do 20 rows with you, 18, 19, and 20. Taking your time. It doesn't take that long. Even though you're going slow, you're taking your time. You want to make sure you don't get any tuck stitches, so it's worth taking your time. So now that's down there, I'm going to put this on the very bottom. I don't tie it on with the tail end. I just stick it in the bottom by the knot there. And then I keep going. And of course, I'm not going to have this table. When I'm not on camera, I'm not going to have this table here. So I just hold it so it's down. So it's you know, this goes between my knees. And I'm sitting at the edge of the chair, and I keep knitting, and it keeps falling down, and it's and I don't have to keep moving it up for 85 rows. I just keep working it till I get 85 rows. So this is 21, and you're going to continue in like manner until you get 85 rows. And when you're finished 85 rows, see me back, and I'll show you how I cast off. So that's 85. So I'm at the end. I'm going to cut off a long tail, not that long. Just have to pick up 6 stitches. Then I'm going to take my needle. I'm going to take that out of that little yarn guide there. I'm going to thread my needle, and we're going to remove our stitches just like we would if we were on any other Addi. Okay, so you're going to turn till it releases that stitch. Then you're going to pick it up, turn, oops, pick it up. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Pull my needle off, pull it out the end, take my little weight off, and there I have my cord of 85 rows. You're gonna need to make 2 of those, okay? So go ahead and persevere, make 1 more, and when you have that done, I'll see you back. So we're going to take 1 piece of our main color, just like that. Then we're gonna take 1 of the cords that we made 2, okay? You're going to line it up. We're going to do a mattress stitch, okay? So you're going to, right now, there's no right or wrong side to this. And there's no right or wrong. This is all just a tube, okay? So it doesn't matter what side you use, unless you can look at it and you think one side looks a little bit better than the other. But really, there's no right or wrong yet. Once we attach this, then there becomes a right and a wrong. So you're going to take the very top side. Let me just lower my camera. I'll do that while I'm still on with you. You're going to take the very edge, and you're going to look for the row where the wide part of your stitch is down here and the point is to the right, okay? That's how we always do it. Then we're going to take the edge of our cord and we're going to rotate it till we get the same thing. So the wide part of the stitch is going to the left. Then we're going to line them up. We're going to do the mattress stitch. You've got the white cord inside the main body of it, right? Just like this. You're not going to put it outside, you're going to put it inside. Okay? And then we're going to, at the seam there, we're going to pick up 1 bar. We're going to go across, and we're going to pick up the first bar on our cord. Bring it through and work it. Okay? This is where we came out, so we count 1, 2, pick up a bar, bring it through. This is where we came out, so 1, 2, pick up a bar, and work it. We're going to do that all the way around, following the same row, okay? So 1, 2, and work it. 1, 2, and through the loop. 1, 2, 1, 2. I have a video on this if you need to see it done a little bit slower. We're going to stay on the same row on both. So it's not too hard to do. What you do is you just straighten it out so you have about 5 or 6 stitches that are in line, and then you just can move your hand up like that and it'll stay there. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm counting number 1 where the stitch was coming out of, okay? So 1, 2, 1, 2. So we're missing 1 bar and picking up a bar. Missing this bar, missing this bar, and picking up this bar, okay? 1, 2. We're going to do that all the way around. Very important that you stay on the same row, okay? So 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. So keep doing that until you get all the way around. And when you get to the end, when I get to the end, I will come back and see you. Okay? You can do it, my friends. So much fun. Looks great. It's going to be a wonderful little bag. Oops, get under there, little guy. There we go. All right. See you soon, my friends. Getting close to the end here. And I'm going to pick up that one, pick up that one. Oops. Then I have 1 left, so I'm just going to do the 1. If I can get in there. It's kind of a tough one to see because it's tight in there. And then, okay, so then I'll do that. Now I'm at the end, and you'll see where that matches there. And I just use these ends to sew the rest, okay? Let's see, I could probably, I'm going to just pick that up there, because I had 1 left here. You just kind of make it work at the end. Let's see, is there 1 in there I can grab? I'm just gonna grab that, okay? And then what I'm going to do is trail down my 1 end here. I'm just gonna take it down through here, just to the bottom, so that I can wrap it around and bring it through that loop to close that off so I don't lose that, okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle again, but I'm going to take this one, And then we're going to sew that closed. When I trailed that down, I pulled it a little too tight, and so now that's why it's kind of pulling. But it'll all work out in the end. So there we go. I'm going to join that at the top. And then I'm just going to close this off. All the way down to the bottom here. Okay, then I can tie this off. You know what? I'm going to take it to the other side because this is the right side. So I'm going to just take those into the inside and tie the knot so that we don't see the knot. And then I'll hide them from the other side. Okay? Just a little detail that will make your work look better. You don't want to see a knot on the outside. So I'm going to tie these off. Just went to a little town close to us. It's by a river. Went and had a caramel sundae. It was so good. Came back and decided, well, let me just work on this a little. We went for a long bike ride in a park, and then we went for ice cream. And now I'm back, and I'm going to work on this just a little bit before I go to bed. Okay, so there we go. That's the back. We finished that up nicely. This is the front. And now you can see that this becomes the right side, okay? So we sewed it on that side. This was the side that we wove it on, and that's the side that the braid's on. So we have to take note of that for every piece that we add because the back looks different, okay? The inside looks different. All right, so I finished both pieces like this, and this is the right side, and this is the right side with the braid, okay? So both of these are right side facing. And so now I want to join this piece to this piece. So I want my braid to be on the outside again. So basically I have to go like that. So I have to lift this part up so that this outside, so that the two inside pieces are together, okay? So if this is the outside, this is the right side of the outside, then I put my two inside pieces together, just like that, okay? And I'm gonna line them up on the seam, okay? So this is the right side of the material, this is the right side of the material, and I want my braid to be on the outside. So I line up the wrong side and the wrong side, put them together at the seam, making sure that the wide part of the V is going to the left, and then we are going to pick up a stitch, go across, pick up a stitch, pull it through, just like what we were doing. Then we're going to count 1, 2, pick up a stitch, keep going, 1, 2, pick up a stitch, 1, 2, 1, 2, and simply work it around all the way like that, okay? Putting the right side together, or the wrong sides together, and the right sides out. Because this way we're working our braid on the outside of the material, which is what we want to do, okay? So we're going to continue in that pattern all the way around. So go ahead and do that, and when you're done, I will see you back. Okay, so I made it to the end, and I don't have a tail to add to it, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a piece of yarn in there. I'm going to thread my needle, and then I'm going to just sew this part closed, okay? Grabbing that last loop there, then I'm just going to sew this end closed. Just like that. Then I'm going to tie it off in a knot. Again, I could have taken that to the inside, but I didn't. I'm going to cut that off, but I'm going to pull it through, so we'll make it work. Cut that off, put it through to the other side, pull that knot through, and then I'm going to hide it in my work. I like to do my ends right away. I don't like to leave a bunch of ends till the end of my job and of my project and then have to hide a pile. So I do it as I go along. Okay, now that's done. And we're going to turn it right side out again. Okay, you can see what that's looking like. So we've got our braid there and up here. And it's looking great so far. We're going to put our base on last. I find it that that is best to do. All right, so now we're going to add our final piece to the top. We're going to do the same thing. There's no right or wrong side to this one yet until we sew it on, okay? So we're going to just line up those. This is the back. We're going to line up the stitches, just the seam, just like that. Then again, we're going to pick up and we're going to put the two insides together, and we're going to do the same thing all the way around, okay? Making sure that we've got the V with the wide part of the V going to the left, okay? So when you put your tool underneath your stitch, the point is there, and the wider part of the stitch is up here, going to the left, okay, on both. And you're going to finish this one the exact same way as you finished the other sections, okay? So go ahead and do that, and then I'll see you back. Looks like a cute little dress. And we're going to take our base now that we have finished off, and we're going to turn to the back, okay? And we're going to take one of the ends, doesn't matter which one. I'm going to take this one because I've got some wonky stitches there. You're going to find your center seam, and you're going to find the center of your base. This is the easiest way to figure out how to put it on, okay? So the center of my base, let me just grab my tape measure again. From there to there is 5 inches. So let's say 2.5 inches. So that's right where my finger is. Right there, I'm just going to put a little stitch marker in there, okay? I'm going to grab some yarn, the color of my project, and I'm going to thread my needle. You want it quite long because we're going to sew all around this entire base, okay? We're going to thread the needle. Okay. What I want to do now is put it inside out. So you got to look for where your braids are. You can see that this is what it looks like on the wrong side. So we're going to put it on the right side just so I can show you the difference. That's the right side of the braid, okay? So it's more prevalent. You can see the stitching a lot better. So again, we want to turn it inside out. Okay, then we're going to find that seam that's right here, okay? We're going to take our needle. We're going to put it through that stitch where our stitch marker is. Remove that stitch marker. And then up into that center seam, just like that. I probably made this way too long because that's my habit, if you know me. And then we're going to tie a knot just to secure that right in place there, okay? That'll make it easier to sew. Then what we're going to do is we're going to just pick it up just like that. We're going to follow along that same row. So I'm going to try to stay along that same edging row there all around, okay? And then I'm just going to sew it on. So I'm going to pick up a side and I'm going to go through the top part there. Then when I get almost to the end of pulling it through, I'm going to stick my needle in that loop and pull it through. Okay, just like that. Then I'm going to move over to the next stitch and I'm going to do the same thing. Pull it through. And just before I get, there's my loop that's almost through. I'm going to put my needle in there. Now, I remember this stitch from many years ago when I was in junior high or high school. I can't even remember when I took home ec. I think it's called the embroidery stitch, but I don't remember for sure. So you can put it in the comments. If you know what stitch this is, let me know. But I do think it's the embroidery stitch, but I can't remember. That or maybe the whip stitch. I don't know. Okay, so you pull it through, but the reason why I like this one is because you're seaming it up here, but you're also making, when you pull it through like that and you tighten it, it makes this seam that goes across here. It just gives it some extra strength, okay? And so I'm going through, but it's also got a row going across just like that. So you're going to go all the way across till you get to the corner. Then you're going to put 2 of these stitches in every corner just to reinforce the corners. And you're going to keep going around until you get to the end. Just as simple as that, okay? So when you get to the corner, just do 2 or even 3 in there to help you turn. And then keep going down and around until you have your base piece sewn on, and then I'll see you back. I'll see you back partway through, okay? Just to see how it's going. Okay, actually, before I get too much further, I'm going to give you a little tip that I just figured out I'm going to do too. I'm going to find the halfway point here as well. Okay, so again, I'm going to eyeball about 2.5, which is right here. Put my needle in there, and then my halfway point lined up with that seam there is right there. I'm going to just attach this other side as well, just like this. I'll show you here. Then it makes it easier to line it up as you're going around. Okay, so hopefully you clicked on this video a little further before you got too far into the project, and then you're gonna just work on this half. Okay, so you know that that's got to line up there. This has got to line up there, and this is coming around. So you're going to have to tighten it up in some ways, okay? So I'm coming around here. This is going to be a little bit loose here, but you're just going to work it so that it fits, okay? It's not too hard to do. But I'm going to just loosen that up over there, push that up over there just a little bit. I've got the first half done and it's looking great. Okay, so that's all sewed on all around here. And I hope yours is coming along great too. See, it's going to give it just a really nice base. Okay, so go ahead, finish up. It's fitting perfectly, and I'll see you when we get to the end. I'm at the end, and I just have a few more stitches to do. Okay, I'm at the corner here, so I've been putting 3 in the corner just to reinforce those corners. So 1, 2, and 3. And I had an extra long piece that was in the middle here, so I sewed backwards and finished it up there. So I'm actually finished in my corner here, okay? But I'm going to just go over 1. Just like that. Gonna tie a knot. And 1 more. And there we go. So that I'm going to trail this underneath that row of stitches just a little bit there. And then back. And then I'm going to go underneath, pull it through, and cut it off.
And now we have a beautiful base to our bag, and we're going to make the drawstring next.
All right, so we're going to use our yarn. I'm going to use the white yarn. We're going to cross it over our finger like this, use our 5mm hook, go underneath, pick up that strand, and bring it through to put our slip stitch onto our hook. Then we're going to yarn over, and we're going to chain 1, yarn over, chain 2, yarn over, chain 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, 9, and 10, and you're going to keep going for the length that you want. All right, so for mine, I made a chain of 80, okay? So then I'm going to go into the second chain from my hook. So this is 1, this is 2. I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. I have 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull it through. That's 1 single crochet. Then I'm going to go into the next one, do the same thing. And the next one, I'm going to single crochet all the way down to the end. Okay, so in each stitch, you're going to go back the other direction and you're going to single crochet into every stitch. And that will make our cord that we're going to use. Now, if you don't want to crochet and you have an Addi egg, you can make a long cord with your Addi egg if you like, or just use lace or pick up some jute. Use your imagination and make the cord however you want to make it if crocheting isn't something that you want to give a go at. But this is a very easy one to start crocheting with. So if you don't crochet and you want to learn, you could do this. Just follow along on this video, rewind it, put it in slow motion, slow speed on your phone, and or on your whatever you're on. I know that on the phone and on the laptop you can slow down the speed, and watch it again, or look up my crochet videos that teach you how to crochet, and you can do this. it's not hard, okay? And it just makes a nice thickness. So that's the thickness that we're gonna have for our cord. So go ahead and complete that. When you get to the end, I'll see you back. I'm at the end, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna take that bottom loop there, or that bottom strand of yarn there. I'm gonna yarn over, and I'm gonna bring it through. Generally, it's the other one that we use, but I wanna bring this bottom end up to the top here. So then I'm going to tie this in a knot. Just like that. Okay. And there we go. We've got a beautiful little cord. It's lovely. And we're going to just take our needle and hide in our ends. Okay, so just gonna go roughly in those stitches. Pull it through. And then go back the other way and cut it off, okay? Just like so. So go ahead and do that, and then I'll see you back. So if you made it to this far, to this part of the video, then you've done it, my friends. This is the cutest little bag. Like, seriously, there's so many options you could put. You could put a handle on this. You could do, well, I don't know. But for us, we're going to use just this cord. But you're going to put it in half. Okay, we've got one more thing to do, and we are done. You're going to just put it in the middle of your front of your bag. Then you're going to take another piece of yarn, white yarn. Okay. So you've put it in half. You put it in the middle of your bag. You're threading the needle on your yarn, and you're going to just sew this on right to the front. And I wish you could talk to me, because then you could tell me what you're making for supper. You know, I've been crafting today, I've been doing this, and I've been doing that, feeling a lot better. But supper, what's for supper? Put it in the comments. Tell me what you're making for supper. Okay, so there we go. That's all you got to do, a simple little stitch. Now I'm going to put that into the inside. I'm going to take this one. I think we're going to barbecue smokies, actually. Smokies and coleslaw. That's a good summer meal, isn't it? Went for a long bike ride in the park today. And now it's time to have something to eat. But I thought I would just quickly come down here and finish this off. So that's what you do. You tie that off. Then you hide your ends. Always hide your ends. Okay. Put that on my needle and just go right in there and go in between. Just like that. Pull it out, cut it off, and our bag is completed. Way to go, guys. And we want that on there because then it doesn't get lost, but this is how you tie it. You take it around the back. You bring it back into the front. Tie one knot there, then tie another one the other way. And there you have, it looks like, it looks like a Santa Claus sack. If this was red, it would be a Santa Claus sack, but it's not. And you can fill this with your makeup. You can throw it in your suitcase, just like that. Leave it in your bathroom on your counter full of your makeup. How pretty is that? Make it in your and the colors that you like. Use it as a gift bag. Put the gift in there with your you know, tissue coming out of the top. You can fold this over if you want to. And have a nice little bag like that. It's just so great. And once it's full, it will stand because it's got that flat bottom. So there you go, my friends. We have gone and made ourselves a little bag. I'm loving it. I think it's very, very cute. And I hope you do too. So thanks again for watching this video. You guys are the best. I always love spending time with you. I say that a lot, but you know what? I mean it from the bottom of my heart. You guys are the best. So thanks again. Please come over and join my Facebook group, Koala Knits and Knacks, if you haven't done so already, and show us your work and get lots of inspiration there. And there's a great group of crafters there. And make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Take care, my friends.